So Tavis Smiley was on Vlad TV. You know Vlad wasn't gonna be there because he's scared of somebody black that can articulate and not go for his okey doke take you down. But anyway, Tavis Smiley quoted, "Economically, black people are still 3/5 of a person." As you know, 13th Amendment put that there. Founding forefathers. For people who romanticize America and they're black and don't understand, that was in law, 3/5 human. 3/5 of a person, you know, and it's historical. It's you know, it's a reality. So what he's saying is this. It's the old Dred Scott thing too, by the way, because I had to get my brain on it for a moment. I haven't read up on Dred Scott in so long. And if you haven't, read about Dred Scott. But anyway, um, the reality is that economically, as a whole, that's where reparations come in. That's where trillions of dollars would offset so much if you were to pay. Because that's the only way that would balance everything, in all honesty. See, when you look at individual wealth, you see all the hoopla and hypla. Like right now, basketball talks. When they talk about Michael Jordan and LeBron James, they're not talking about skill set. They're talking money set. One guy was a billionaire, another's a billion through commerce, through the business and branding. That's why they compare the two, not about talent. But they use that as a way to trigger, like, see, you done came up, see what we got, you got this. It's manipulated to make you think that a clutch sports and all this is somehow a power player when they're still a small fish on the pond, because ain't nothing changed in terms of the overall big picture. You get driplets and drops. You don't get the full pour. So when I talk about pro sports or I talk about the entertainment industry, I tie them all as one, as I would tie Fortune 500, as I would tie Wall Street, all of it. Who's calling the shots? Who's the one that's calling the shots in Hollywood? Who's calling the shots on these major professional teams and these conglomerates? That's where you get the balance. And that's why you're 3/5 human if you're black in America, because unless you have the ownership and a real stake in things, you're still being treated like a slave, you know. And you see that in the educational system, you see that in the way businesses are. I did a video about black farmers who are just getting compensated and not even fully compensated for their crops, not getting the same by the banks. You got to get bank to go to the bank to create the bank. You got to get bank to go to the bank to create the bank. Say that 3 times and see how that kind of flows. So when you look at these entertainers, athletes, or these politicians and people, you think, oh, well, we're getting, no, you're not getting anything. You're getting a crumb of a crumb. When you're still dealing with first, after all this time and all the technology, innovation, and systems, how can you be excited? 3 African American Supreme Court justices. Let that sink in. One black president, one black VP. Let that sink in. Let the laws of the land and the people, the situation, let that sink in. See, when you talk about changes and goals, it has to be fundamentally structural. That's what systematic institutionalized racism is alive and well, because that foundation is implemented in all forms of life, which doesn't share. So there's no way in the world that if you were 75 years old and you're black and you grew up when there were separate water fountains and separate sidewalks and theaters, etc., that you will feel inclusive, because there has not been that glass ceiling that has broken. So until it's a full on unity, not to say, and black folks aren't monolithic because they come in all shapes, sizes, etc., backgrounds. However, if you're a homeowner or if you're renting, or you're working whatever, that should be all tied to a pool that will betterment the foundation to pass on. Not where it's some kind of sick competition to say, well, you're here and we'll anoint you based on what? On what exactly? So the divide to conquer is real. A handful get through, a handful don't. Tupac Shakur told you about this 30 plus years ago. A lot of people have showed you it, you know, to obtain, to sustain, to get to that so called next level. What you got to do, you know. And it's only for you, it's not for everybody. They let a few sprinkle through. They ain't letting everybody get through. And that's the problem. Because the people that spend the most money are black in America, but the people that are more separated are the same as too. That's from slavery to now. I'm telling you, if you break a people, you break a chain of them, you keep that chain locked. Because if you were to break that chain and make unity, see, one or two things would happen with the United States. And if you watch the movie Glory, the fight was to prevail and to save the country. As Tavis Smiley brought up so well about that movie with Denzel Washington and Andre Broder, the actor, Morgan Freeman, and Matthew Broderick. But you got to remember, that movie tie into what you see. Don't tell me the past doesn't resonate to today, because if the past didn't matter, we wouldn't be so far one side of the chain. And you wouldn't have those laws and that mindset. Believe me, if all things were equal, the mindset would be in unison and concert to that. That's why George Floyd episodes, to Breonna Taylor, to Macy, that just happened, those things have been allowed to happen. So, anyway, until you get it together, the 3/5 human aspect, which is part of the 13th Amendment, is alive and well. The Dred Scott is alive and well. Because it has to fundamentally function where everybody would have a fair shot. Really. And not just because you so and so, or you play ball, or you sing, or you rap, or nothing, which is fool's gold too. Because guess who owns that? Don't let this light fool you, because the bulb ain't on all the way. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like, and please hit that membership, because when you do the videos you request, I bring them back to you. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay focused, stay real, stay honest, stay woke, stay healthy. One time I'm back. Peace.